It's finally happening. There's a bad movie I can talk about. Hey audience, welcome to Creeper Invasion. Hey guys, I'm JT, Barack Obama's former baseball coach. So, like a week ago, me and my dad went to see Eternals in theaters, and my mom stayed behind to watch the new Clifford movie with my sister. And I think I would have rather watched the Clifford movie. I did not like the Eternals. Sorry, Eternals. Can't add the for some reason. I did not like Eternals at all. I thought it was aimless and bad, and now I want to talk about it. This isn't going to be like a regular review where I do the good and the bad and the mixed. And honestly, I might just stop doing those reviews because they always feel awkward. I don't know. I'm going to figure it out. We'll see. But yeah, this is just mostly going to be a rant with a few compliments sprinkled in. It's not all bad. It's just it's pretty bad, I'm going to be honest. Obviously, there's going to be spoilers for the movie in this video, so if you care about that, make sure to delete YouTube from your phone. And also, this is all my personal opinion. If you like the movie, that's cool. Don't get angry at me, please. I'll start off by saying what I actually liked about the movie. The CGI was very good. Better than it is in most Marvel movies. CGI in Marvel is kinda hit or miss, so this was a pleasant surprise. The costume and production design was also very good. I very much liked that part of the movie. I liked some of the characters, but we'll get into that later. Some of the themes that they developed near the second half of the movie were actually really compelling, but then they didn't really go anywhere, so oof. The comedy was surprisingly good. There's this weirdly hilarious subplot about Kingo, one of the Eternals, trying to film this documentary about saving the world of his valet, and it's honestly my favorite part of the movie, and I don't even think that's an insult. The music is fine. Ramin Djawadi, there's no way I'm saying that right. Ramin Djawadi made a really good score for Iron Man, but this one's just sort of okay. The directing was really good until there was an action scene, and then it was quite bad, but we'll get into that later too. I know I'm putting off a lot of stuff, but I don't actually have a reason. Moving on. Based off the non-action scenes of this movie, I can say that Chloe Zhao seems like a really talented actor, but I think she might have bitten off a bit more than she could chew with this one, because I don't really think she can direct action all that well. And with that, we get into the bad stuff. Yeah, like I said, I did not like how the action scenes were directed at all. Usually my problem with action direction in the MCU is that it feels like there's too much happening. They overuse shaky cam a ton, and it's super over-edited, and a lot of times it can be a bit overwhelming. Not all of the movies have this problem, and sometimes it can actually benefit the movie, but there's also like that one scene in Civil War with Black Panther and Bucky on the rooftop where I genuinely can't tell what's happening. This movie has the opposite problem. All the action is too static. It feels like there's nothing happening. Cinematography is basically just a long static shot, and then long static shot, and then, oh boy, you guessed it,
another long static shot.
It makes it feel so much less immersive, like we're just watching it, which I know we are, but think of some of the really good action scenes in Marvel movies. Like that fight between Thor, Iron Man, and Captain America and Thanos at the end of Endgame. It feels like you're there. It feels like the camera moves with the camera. No? It feels like the camera moves with the camera. Every time a character hits each other, it's directed in a way that makes it feel like we, the audience, got hit. It's really impressive. This movie, we're just kind of watching from afar, and that makes the action bad. Plus, there are problems with the choreography, and it can be sort of uncreative by Marvel standards, but, those were more nitpicky. One of the worst parts about this movie is for sure the pacing. I'd say they spend roughly 75% of the movie introducing the insane amount of main characters. And not in a way that, develops the bonds between all the different characters or introduces them in a way that, shows their personality. You don't learn about these characters through their introductions. They just have to be introduced for the story to happen, except not really, because half the characters in this movie are useless. If you can just randomly have one of the main characters in the movie just not be in the final fight, yeah, you mishandled that character. Most of these characters have like no internal conflict. They're just along for the ride. Compared just to the Avengers movies where all of the main characters have like their own individual motivations and reasons that they're fighting, and they build different relationships with different characters, and in this they're all just like co-workers. And yeah, the characters are just really hit or miss. Half of them don't need to be there, half of them aren't even good characters. The fact that there's characters as incredible as Iron Man, Captain America, Scarlet Witch, and Loki sharing a universe with these goobers is kinda sad. So I know I've said characters a lot, but like, I don't think there's any synonyms for that, so what do you want me to do? Call them people? That's weird. It makes them sound like I'm friends with the fictional characters. But yeah, the characters overall are not very good. I liked Stina and Kingo a lot, like, because Stina is played by Angelina Jolie, who's awesome in this movie, and also has like a pretty compelling internal conflict. And Kingo is funny. That's it. He's just funny. He doesn't have much going on. He's the funny guy, which sometimes it's fine to just have a funny guy. You know, he doesn't need to be like a complex character. Which is why it bothers me that they tried to make him a complex character at the end by completely writing him out of the third act with absolutely no motivations put in place earlier in the movie, but who am I to judge? I didn't mind Sprite, but then she like randomly stabs her best friend in the back because she has a crush on someone who just tried to murder her? How is that real?
Who let this happen?
I freaking loved Makari when she was on screen, but that doesn't happen a lot. I really loved Drugs for a little while. Oh crap, that's not what it's supposed to say. Druig. I really loved Druig for a while. I just misspelled it. Please don't arrest me. But yeah, I really liked Druig for a little while. He's got this like really compelling story set up where he tries to protect humans from hurting each other using questionable mind control tactics. He's set up as this super interesting character and then just fades into the background. Stop! What are you doing? Like, kind of like Gilgamesh, but then they killed him off for no good reason. Are you picking up a common theme here? They don't give any of the characters enough time in the spotlight, save for like 3 of them. And that's all because there's just too many of them. Why are there 10 main Eternals in this? The original Avengers only had 6, and 4 of them had their own solo movies before that. It feels like this movie just rushes and tries to do too many things at once. I will say Phastos is an amazing character. I know that it's kind of silly that his whole conflict is he doesn't want to help the Eternals stop the emergence because he wants to take care of his family, but if he didn't help the Eternals, his whole family would
Die.
That's kind of dumb, but I'm able to overlook it because Phastos is so great otherwise. He's a very interesting and endearing and entertaining character who has great chemistry with his family and the Eternals. He's the only one in this movie that feels like a fully formed person, as for the rest of them where it's just like they got like one thing going on and then that's about it. Also, Phastos actually affects the plot. Hallelujah. I really wish he could have been the main character. He's super charming and likable, and I want to see more of him. Also, he's funny. The 2 main Eternals are Cersei and Ikaris, which sucks because they're also the 2 worst. Cersei is just such a dull character. She's well acted, don't get me wrong, that kind of goes for all these characters, but like, I don't think they gave her a single personality trait. Cersei sucks. This is particularly annoying because I usually really love MCU protagonists. Even in movies that are just decent or even bad, usually have pretty good main characters. And then there's Ikaris. I don't like Ikaris at all. He starts out as a stale, emotionalist, generic love interest, and by the end, he's one of the worst twist villains I've ever seen in a movie.
That mistake was his mistake.
I haven't even gotten to that one goofy as heck scene where he flies into the sun. Honestly, Ikaris is just one of the worst Marvel villains. And you know what else? This movie also gives us the worst Marvel villain. By far. It's this weird, like, deviant human crossover thing. He barely affects the plot. He doesn't have a name, and he gets like 2 minutes of screen time. He makes Malekith look like Thanos by comparison. There's also Ajak. Ajak is a character in the movie. I honestly don't know how to feel about her because she has one scene before they kill her off. Why? Yeah, we're supposed to feel bad for the other characters, despite the fact that they haven't set up a single connection with Ajak and any of these characters. I kid you not, when she's died, she hasn't talked to any of them. You can't just kill a character and expect us to automatically feel something. You gotta establish that character first. When Ajak is on screen, I don't care. She has no chemistry with any of the other characters. She's not funny. She's not a cool character. She's not a complex character. She just feels like she's there because she was in the comics. And that's the only reason, let's be real. The worst part is there's so much emphasis on how she picked Cersei to be the next leader of the Eternals, and that's supposed to mean so much, but they didn't give us a single scene between Ajak and Cersei. I didn't need much, just one scene between the two characters so I can actually feel something for once. The movie keeps saying that the Eternals are like this big family and they all care each other and have these complex bonds, but I don't think any of the characters have complex bonds. This is like one of my biggest movie pet peeves. Someone telling me someone's sad or that characters care about each other and then not bothering to show that. And yeah, we kind of need to address the elephant in the room, the runtime. 2 hours and 37 minutes. That's freaking insane. For reference, Infinity War had 3 times the characters, way more plot lines, about a dozen more action scenes, and is overall one of the most important movies in the entire franchise. And it's 10 minutes shorter. How'd that happen? The thing that really sucks is there's plenty of stuff they could have cut if they wanted to. I mean, only like 5 out of the 10 Eternals even impacted the plot, really. If they just didn't include Druig, for example, then nothing would have changed other than Gilgamesh never would have died, and they could have just killed him in a different location. If they cut Makari out of it, literally nothing would change. And even if you aren't gonna do that, at least cut down on the amount of scenes spent recruiting the Eternals. They're super slow paced, and I don't get why they couldn't just like group some of them together. Why can't like Makari just be hanging out with Druig? They're clearly pretty good friends. The scenes with Makari and Druig are arguably some of the best in the movie. Why don't you just put Makari in the big Druig village? Why did Kingo, of all characters, get in their own independent introduction? I love Kingo. He's one of the best characters in the movie, but did he really deserve to be one of the few characters that they introduced on their own when he literally does nothing of importance? Just throw in with Phastos. Maybe since they're the 2 most well-adjusted members of the group, they've just kind of become friends over the years. Big brain. And there's also just a lot of filler in this movie. There's this weirdly long scene where Kingo has to film a movie, and they do this big dance scene, and I expected like, okay, so this is gonna be like a funny scene. And then it wasn't. So I don't even know why they bothered keeping it in. This movie so clearly should have been a TV show. I know everyone and their moms has pointed this out on the internet, but it's just true. Anyway, yeah, this movie kind of blows. There's a lot of strong elements, and I think there was a lot of potential to this movie. It could have been one of the better MCU movies, but they just kind of ruined all of it. It's probably the worst thing Marvel's done since Thor 2. As well as the first thing that's come out of Phase 4 of the MCU that I can conclusively say is not good. I didn't really like Falcon and Winter Soldier, but like, I'm not gonna say it's bad. It's got enough good elements to keep it in the middle of the pack. I wouldn't recommend this movie unless you're a Marvel fan, and even if you are, don't like fork over the money to see this in theaters. I promise you it's not worth it. Unless you don't have Disney Plus, and then you kind of need to get Disney Plus. but I think you can cancel it after a month or something. I don't know how it works. I don't know. You do what you want. So yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and give the Eternals a 3.5 out of 10.
Not very good.
It's definitely better than Thor 2 and Iron Man 2, and probably better than The Incredible Hulk, but it bothers me more personally, even though The Incredible Hulk it's a worse movie, if we're being real. Well, anyway, thanks for watching. Feel free to like and subscribe, or dislike and unsubscribe, and I'll see you guys next time. Also, I know that I really should be making a Loki review, but also I want to save space for the No Way Home review, and I kind of want to review the B movie. I know it's real dumb that I'm prioritizing the 2007 animated Jerry Seinfeld B-related comedy over Loki. But it's my channel, so who cares? I'm gonna make a B-movie review before I make a Loki review, probably. I used Adobe Premiere Rush to edit this video. I used a FuseCheck tripod as the tripod and a pop voice microphone as the microphone, which I feel like I don't need to mention that, but I do anyway, and I will never know why. So yeah, that's about it. I'm gonna head off now, so enjoy the time. I don't even know what I'm saying. The way I say words is weird, isn't it?